You are now tuned in to The Money Zone with your host, Folasade, the accountant for entrepreneurs. The time is now, your future waits, your money matters, make no mistake, it's not too late to dominate, so don't delay. You are now tuned in to The Money Zone with your host, Folasade, the accountant for entrepreneurs. The time is now, your future waits, your money matters, make no mistake, it's not too late to dominate, so don't delay, get your money straight. The money zone, together we'll achieve your goals, we're building wealth, you're not alone, so don't delay, get your money straight.
Hey guys, welcome. It's your girl Folasade, the accountability accountant, guys. I am so excited to be with you guys today. I apologize for my tardiness. Every time it seems like when we're doing the show from home, there's some form of technical difficulty somewhere. But look, we're on and we're popping, and we have an amazing season finale for you guys tonight. So to close out the 2020 year, guys, I know we all felt it some way, somehow, right? Or you're starting to feel it or you're not feeling it. However the case, 2020 has been absolutely crazy, right? Nothing that none of us expected, right? But how better way to end the year by exposing yourself with something that may have piqued your interest or something that you thought about before. And we're going to be closing out 2020 talking about franchising, okay? So I'm so excited to have our amazing guest here, Stephanie, with us tonight, guys. So if I were you, I would definitely grab my pen and paper, share the video, tell your girlfriends, girl, you thought about franchising before. Folasade talking about franchising. You got Stephanie in the building, and they're talking about franchising. And because it's the new year, our last show for 2020, join our mailing list, guys, by going to bit.ly/TMZ, get notified. We have so much in store for 2021. Even with everything on the fence, we're going to bring you guys amazing content in 2021, amazing guests. So guys, join our mailing list by going to bit.ly/get TMZ, get notified. Okay, guys. So look, I know you thought about franchising before, because I have, right? So to close out this year, we have Stephanie Chambliss, guys. She is considered the family wealth coach, okay? And Stephanie Chambliss, she's dedicated her life to helping individuals, families, and businesses build their financial future. A New Orleans native, Ms. Chambliss received her Bachelor's of Arts degree in accounting from Louisiana State University and her Master's of Business Administration from Texas Southern University. She currently holds the following: a FINR Securities registration Series 7, Series 63, guys. So she dibbling and dabbling in the stocks, and yeah, I heard about the Series 7 and 63. Go, Stephanie. Also maintaining a license to offer life and health insurance. Stephanie is also the owner and operator of PJ's Coffee, located at 5733 Reed Boulevard. There, she also manages a staff of 18 full-time and part-time employees. She's extremely knowledgeable in creating startup businesses by conducting market research and business plan writing, maintaining a strong sense of community and a solid professional foundation are evidenced by her current participation in the following. She's an Alpha Kappa Alpha, aka in Sorority Inc., and also the part of the National Coalition of 100 Black women, guys. And because we are running a little bit late, guys, allow me and help me welcome Stephanie into the Money Zone. Hey, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm well.
Thank you so much. My apologies for the tardiness, technical difficulties. It seems like every time we do the show at home, there's something. So I apologize for that.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm excited because franchising is one of those things that you're over there managing 18 employees doing the thing. You also have your Series 7, Series 63. So just if you can just tell the people just a little bit about you that your bio misses out on, and what also align with that, what triggered you to go into the franchising business?
Okay. Yeah, so what my bio doesn't mention is actually how I got into the coffee business or the franchising business. But being an accountant and a licensed financial advisor, you meet with clients a lot of times outside of the office space or outside of like the client's home. And then at the time, I was also studying to receive another professional license. So I actually frequented coffee shops all the time, but the area that I was currently living in did not have any coffee shops.
Mm.
So that was the first thing I identified, was that there was a need in this area. Um, so I did research for about 2 years. I did a lot of my own research, identified my own location.
Okay.
Um, I wrote my own business plan, and I didn't rush it. You can't rush any major investments or any major moves that you may make. So I worked on this project for about 2 years, and then when the perfect location became available, I was ready to put my plan in motion.
Oh, wow. Wow. And that initial research um to get into franchising is tough and tedious. So did you consult with an attorney through the process, or you just dove right in and just started researching on your own?
One thing about me, I just kind of dive in like the traditional entrepreneur and then kind of figure out or navigate along the way. So, no, I did my own research, even down to the location. We have a Waffle House right next door to our location. And once I identified this location, I would sit in the window at the Waffle House and watch the traffic drive by to kind of get a really good idea of what the traffic flow was in this area, because one of the things I did not want to do was to listen to what other people were saying about this area who were not from this area, not familiar with this area. And again, I was a native living in this area, and I knew that there were a lot of young professionals just like me, whether they were accountants, lawyers, real estate agents, educators, etc. So I knew that there was a great need. I just had to get the right location and be on the right side of traffic. And coincidentally, I insisted that we have a drive-through. Now, this was 2 years ago, before anyone ever knew anything about a coronavirus. But even having that drive-through has been kind of a saving grace for this type of business as well. But to answer your question, most of the research I did on my own or with a team of people that I had put together to help work with me.
Mm. And that is amazing because you have to read those UCC reports and all of that stuff. So guys, one thing you want to know is that before you go into the franchise, and even if you consult with individuals, you want to actually do some research for yourself, at least kind of know the jargon and what the people may be talking about, so you won't go into any situation completely clueless at all. So would you consider your day-to-day, how would you consider your day-to-day life? Is it the normal entrepreneur small business, or is it just a tad bit more hectic because you're part of a bigger, ecosystem? Could you tell me a little bit about how complex or straightforward you may think compared to our basic small business in terms of franchising?
So I always say expect the unexpected. We are Crescent City Coffee doing business as PJ's Coffee on Reed Boulevard. So we are still a small business. So, there is no real normal day. We have our certain hours of operations that we open and close. But as the entrepreneur or the proprietor, you're always concerned about, did my staff get in on time? Is anyone late? You know, you're always like worrying and thinking about your business. So you spend a lot of time just kind of inside of your business. And it's not necessarily just because we are a franchise. It's more because we are a small business. I think that's one of the misconceptions. People think if they sign with a franchise, that's pretty much all they need is a name recognition, and then the business is going to run itself. That's absolutely not the way that it works. As the franchisee, you still have to wear multiple hats. Some days I'm barista. If someone calls in, if someone's running late, I may be a barista. If I pull up and I see trash in the parking lot and, my team is busy, I'm outside picking up trash. So I might be the janitor some days. Other days I'm thinking about marketing. It's Christmas. How can we get upsells? So as the franchisee, you are wearing multiple hats. You're always trying to look at things at a higher level. And one of the things that I tell people, you have to kind of figure out a way where you could work on your business and not in it. Because if you are working in it, you're doing the day-to-day operations. And sometimes I get caught, doing the day-to-day operations, but I really try to have the right people in place. And that's part of the reason the team is so big. We do have a lot of high school and college students on staff. Okay. It's really important to have the right people in place so that I can focus on higher level things like growing.
Yes.
Like growing the business.
Look, guys, and that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So there's no easy way out of business. You're going to just have to dedicate yourself to the business and go completely in. Okay. And then also you're going to have to be able to manage yourself effectively so you won't get stuck just working in the business. You have to work on the business. You have to do the CEO stuff, that we need to do to flourish and grow, and not just manage the team either, because really the CEO don't really manage the team. The CEO manages the manager. So, you're supposed to be able to work on the business to do the necessary steps so it can blossom and flourish. And that's exactly what Stephanie is basically saying right now. She has to adjust accordingly. She cannot just get stuck in the business. She has to shift to that CEO perspective. So that is really, really good, Stephanie. So I want to just ask you off the question. So how do you guys manage your accounting? Like, is it much more complicated? Like, do you enjoy it? Do you outsource it? How do most franchises manage their accounting?
So again, I was an accountant prior to opening this business. So initially I was doing all of our accounting work, but I even had one of my partners I was studying with for the CPA exam, which I didn't complete, but I actually had to bring her on as our CPA to help manage, because again, I don't want to get caught in working in the business. I always want to try to be working on the business. So again, a lot of the day-to-day bookkeeping I still do because of my experience. But other franchisees who do not have accounting backgrounds, they do have accountants.
Yeah. And what I noticed from my side was that most franchises actually will recommend a certain firm or company for them to work with. And it just was kind of biased when the client tried to have me come in to really see, what's going on with the company from their perspective against the royalties and, everything else. So that is really good that you have experience. So guys, this also lends hands that regardless of you are the brain, you are the brand, you still need to know some accounting stuff, because think about it. I was just giving you an experience of a client of mine that hired me to figure out what was going on with the numbers. And in this case, Stephanie has that accounting background, so she's able to see that and control that and monitor that a little bit more effectively. But many of you may be like, okay, I'm getting the franchise and I'm good. No, you may need to have some other eyes look at your numbers to make sure you are doing what you need to do to really grow that franchise. And, the numbers make sense and you're meeting certain margins and you're benchmarking as well against your set of goals and what you're trying to take home. So no, this is really good, Stephanie. Okay. So now, what does the day-to-day life look like for you?
So again, day to day, I'm here. I'm actually here now.
Okay.
I'm here just about every day, in and out a lot. I try not to micromanage like the team by always being here. As business owner, you kind of have to be here to know what's going on. Yeah. And you were mentioning, why it's so important to have an accountant, but you need someone to work with you for inventory controls. for cost of labor, that has to be managed, even down to waste. That's all money going out of your pockets, at the end of the day, as the proprietor. So it's very busy to have an accountant. I just wanted to circle back. I mean, it's very important to have an accountant. I just wanted to circle back to that topic. But my day to day, I'm usually in here early just because I'm an early riser, just by nature. So I'm usually in. I like to make sure, my team gets a really good start, because, my success depends on their success. So once, we really get rolling, and then I'm able to go out and do, other things. And then sometimes I come back. I still have meetings here. I do have a full team. So, there's always multiple people here, at least two, even down to, for safety and security purposes, as the business owner, like you said, you are the brains. That is absolutely correct. And you still have the same 24 hours that everyone else has in the day. So you still try to have a personal life, family, you always looking for that balance. So time management and self-care becomes extremely important, whether you have a franchise or just a regular small business. So my days, I always say, expect the unexpected. I'm always looking for ways to grow the business. So I'm always kind of scouting whether, I see a location that may be, very good for us in the future. Or even if I'm out, eating somewhere and I see someone who may be a good fit for our team that may look for part-time work. In other words, I'm always like working, on the business. My mind is always on how do I make PJs on Read better.
Okay, that's interesting. And that's actually exciting, guys, because even if you are an online brand, brick and mortar, you have to always, Miss Holmes Jones said, expect the unexpected. You always have to expect, and that's what I normally say, you expect unforeseen circumstances. You have to be prepared for unforeseen circumstances, and COVID was one of those unforeseen circumstances. So can you tell me like two things that you've been able to do in your franchise to mitigate the financial pressure of COVID right now, or what did you do to pivot per se and still, drive traffic to your location?
So one of the things we did, we never had to close or reduce our staff. One, because we had the drive-through. So we still needed as many people on staff because, we had to move the line more efficiently and much quicker than we normally did. So the drive-through really was a saving grace. And then we also sought like larger contracts or larger projects. Here in New Orleans, our Smoothie King Center almost became ground zero for first responders in COVID. So we were able to secure some of the spaces where we delivered a breakfast down to that area. So that was like really large orders. But again, when you're working on your business, you can pay attention to RFPs that are coming out. And for those of you who may not know RFPs, that's a request for a proposal. People that are seeking your products or services. So we were able to secure something like that from the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, that was really
immediately when COVID hit, that was like the first thing we saw, and we were able to really act on that quickly.
Oh, go Stephanie. I was so proud that now, guys, remember, when COVID first hit, I started to tell you guys what could you do to pivot in your business right now so you won't feel it, so your business could stay afloat. And Stephanie went over there and killed it, guys. And she did completely pivoted, which was excellent. So now, even ongoing, while they're still out there treating COVID, while they're still out there, the hospitals are still in dire need, and she can still provide services ongoing until all of this is over with. So her company is going to be fine. Now, right now, we're still in the midst of this pandemic. What are you guys going to do right now to begin your pivot? What exactly idea have you been sitting on, and it's amazing, and it functions well in the system that we're in right now? We're going into 2021. Why not launch? We don't have nothing else to lose, okay? Nothing else to lose. You might as well, especially if it's not going to take a lot of overhead, okay? Try it. Look at Stephanie. She was already prepared. But you know what? That goes right into my next question. You had to be prepared to be able to pivot like that. So that means you had your DUNS number, your SAMS accounts, your SAM.gov account. You already, were you what, minority business certified? Like, did you have any type of certifications?
Actually, we just completed. We didn't have any certifications, but that was on a long list of things to get accomplished this year. And the end of this year, this month, we finally accomplished that goal. And that's becoming DBE certified. But no, we weren't at that time. And that was another thing. I wanted to go after a big RFP we saw that was at one of the major hotels here. And we didn't have the DBE status, which was kind of a Debbie Downer for me, but I saw it as an opportunity, at least for the next time we would be ready. Because if I was DBE, then, hey, I can bring in other franchisees or even go to my corporate office and bring them to the table through me. So that was something that we just got accomplished this month.
Oh, go ahead. Look, guys, but she was proactive. She took steps before. Okay, so look, it's not hard to go and get your DUNS number and get your SAMS.gov and just check it out regularly. Like, even if you don't know what you got going on, what you're looking at, just look at it, play around, start to learn the systems. So in situations like this, you may be able to pivot. You may not have a coffee business and can service in that capacity, but your service-based business may be able to provide a service to, for EMTs or for them to function or to transition to being online. And some of you in the tech could have been helping the government transition, online and stuff. So it's a lot of opportunity in the land. So this is amazing, Stephanie. So she basically used her background in accounting to manage her franchise. She pivoted successfully, guys, and is now, like she said, she really didn't feel the functions, the pain and pressure of COVID. And not every one of you are blessed in that situation. But remember, we always said, what didn't you do to be prepared for unforeseen circumstances? I was warning everybody, pivot, find something to do. And if you didn't, you're feeling it. But now we're going into 2021. Leave it behind, start fresh, evaluate where you see your company going, and just put in the work, guys. So Stephanie, you have an amazing story. Guys, let me give Stephanie a little break on the questions. And so, like, if you guys have any questions at all that you want to ask her about franchising, just go ahead on and post it in the chat. We can see your questions. We'll put it on the screen. Guys, also don't forget to join our mailing list by going to bit.ly/TMZ, get notified so you can know when we have amazing guests like Stephanie coming on the show, so you guys can be ready to take notes and just ask the questions that you need to be asked. They always say that the dumbest person in the room is the one that don't ask the questions. If you're curious, ask the questions. This is why I come on the show and try to get amazing guests like Stephanie for you guys to learn from and just inspire you guys to move forward and make progress. And this lady here, she did that in COVID. And that's what's business all about, Stephanie. Being ready for these situations. Like, this is what we're built for, like, in business. So I'm just excited. So guys, let's give Stephanie a break. And then do me one favor. If you are on Instagram, go to Instagram and go follow Stephanie at PJ's Coffee. Let me make sure I got it right, so you guys can go ahead on and follow her while we take a quick little break. I think, yep, it's at PJ's Coffee. Go ahead on and follow her.
It's PJ's Reed Boulevard.
Okay, sorry, Stephanie. PJ's Reed Boulevard. Oh, yeah. Okay. PJ's Reed, READ Boulevard, BLVD.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Go and follow her on Instagram, guys. Also, if you're on Facebook as well, look them up. Go and follow them. Go and like everything Stephanie got going on, guys. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll be right back. Hey guys, and we are back. Okay, so if you missed out before we went to break, like we were talking about pivoting, expecting the unexpected, being prepared, being proactive, all of the key words in entrepreneurship, business ownership, maintaining a business and everything else. So we have Stephanie Chambliss here. She is actually a franchise owner of PJ's Coffees. Hers is located on Reed Boulevard, guys. So you want to patronize her. You can go and find her at PJ's Reed BLVD on Instagram. Head over there and follow Stephanie, guys, because in addition to her being a franchise owner, she's a wealth of knowledge just behind what it takes in running a business. And like I said, this stuff is not for the faint at heart, but as long as you just give it all, you'll be able to do well. So Stephanie, how did you know franchising was for you in the direction that you should have taken rather than just going out and just starting your own?
That's a really good question. Again, like I said, I used to frequent all coffee shops really in the area, just depending upon where I would study or where I was meeting with folks. But I just really felt like the area that I wanted to open in, they deserve kind of something that was already established and that had a footprint in the area. In terms of like marketing, I thought that would be just a little bit easier because of the name recognition. But I did understand that it came with a cost, and that cost is a franchise fee and royalties.
Right.
But again, I thought that coming with a brand that was already familiar to a lot of folks in the area would be most beneficial for me in terms of marketing and name recognition.
Guys, that's smart because so that leads back to her doing her initial research. So like entrepreneurship and running a business, that's really a lot of the CEO's time, research, training, like advancing and, growing and, all of those things. And if Stephanie didn't do her initial research, she wouldn't have realized that there was a need for a coffee place there in her area. So what she had to do now, guys, she took it even further. She was like, okay, well, based on the quality of the people, the demographics, and whatever other research that she applied, she was like, you know what? They may not buy from a out of the blue name. And so she concluded that the cost to invest into the franchise was worth it. Okay, so it wouldn't be too much of a learning curve. They will already have that brand awareness and that notoriety. And so that's what many of you are also, doing with your small business. You're building that brand awareness and that notoriety. So if in turn you maybe want to become a franchise or even offer it, as big, there's a possibility depending on your business, and its capabilities and what you do, you can possibly franchise it or duplicate it. And so in your case, would you expand and because I know you said you're always scouting for other locations and everything. So if the right location come up, like in the next 2 to 3 weeks, even with COVID, and I'm asking from a business perspective, because when you're a real entrepreneur, you still take risk, even during risky times. So if you saw the perfect opportunity in terms of location and stuff, and it's going to be on, it's available for you if you make the move in 2 to 3 weeks, would you risk that during COVID and this pandemic?
That's another very good question. And, I live kind of by one of my mottos is if you're always ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yes.
So like I said, I'm always scouting like locations. So long story short, I was invited to an event. And at this event, some of my regular customers were there. And so they come to me and they say, oh, I want you to meet this director of this facility. And I say, okay, no problem. So I go and I meet him and he's, this is Stephanie Chambliss. She opened, the PJs on Reed, da, 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 da. So the guy says, oh, we always wanted to have a coffee shop here. And so, so I'm talking to him. He says, well, what time do you open? And this is before COVID. And I said, oh, we open at 6 a.m. Well, this is a really big director. And what does he do? He comes to my shop the very next day at 6 a.m. So, and the point that I'm making is, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to be who you say you are. So you have to be open when you say you're going to be open, because you never know who's going to come through the doors. So that guy, he came through the door, and, I talked to him, and long story short, during COVID, we are preparing to open our second location. We've already acquired the second franchise agreement.
Oh, wow. Go, look, congrats. Am I like 4 steps? Look, guys, I was just guessing. Like, because as an entrepreneur, I know if the right opportunity come up for me, I would be, willing to, jump into it. And so this is pure business at your finest, guys. And so this also excites me to that, because many people have this misconception that all of the brick and mortars aren't doing so well during COVID, and that's not the case. There are some brick and mortars that are really, quite a bit of brick and mortars that are really thriving. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is the businesses that I didn't see make any progression prior to COVID, Stephanie, that is struggling now, or that have closed their doors. So like me and my sister were driving past, I was like, holy cow, all of the stores on that whole block is basically shut down. And I felt bad. But then I also noticed that, guess what? They weren't really actively, promoting. Like, you didn't really see too much going on. It was like they were stagnant. So guys, this leads into, you have to prepare and always stay on the move. And I just told one of my clients today, he's in his 9-to-5, and he's also trying to build his business, that you can never really stop your business. Like, you really, because that puts you back. For every day that you don't make progression or don't make a move in your business, you're pushing your business progress back a day. If you push it back a month, you're pushing it back a month, because what you're eating off now today is the progress and the steps that you took a month, 6 months ago, that's feeding you today. So this is where so many entrepreneurs go wrong at, Stephanie. They're not preparing for tomorrow because they're not taking action today. So it is, can you just give me maybe like 3 tips that you basically do, or like suggestions to kind of like manage your time, what you do to manage your time or your life as an entrepreneur? It's yourself.
So 3 really good tips. I would say 1, I can't be everything all the time. So I have surrounded myself with a team. I have my PR person, Masherie Holmes Jones. That's my public relations. I have a social media consultant. Like I said, I have a CPA. I have an attorney. You have to have a team, because it is very overwhelming, for the entrepreneur to try to do everything. I'm not saying that you need this full team that I have, because we've grown into this. In the beginning. Like I said, when I was writing a business plan, it was me writing a business plan. But you have to surround yourself with people who are competent and who can help you. So you need a strong team. To a small business owner or someone looking to start a business, I would say do something to move the needle every day. Starting a business is overwhelming. Even if you just wrote 1 chapter of your business plan, 1 part, or you just research maybe what licenses you may need to open a business. What permits do you need? Like, do at least 1 thing every day to move that needle forward. I remember when I was still working full time, one of the things I did was I took the Serve Safe class. That's required for food safety. You have to have that license. And it was just 1 day, like an 8-hour class, but it didn't really cost me much to do that well before I really got in the brunt of getting this business open. So that's 2. So I said 1 was surround yourself with a team of experts.
Yes.
You never want to be the smartest one in your circle. You want people that can add value to you. So surround yourself with experts. Do at least 1 thing to move the needle forward. And 1 thing we hadn't touched on, like I said, I did a lot of the research, but once I got ready to sign my franchise agreement, things like that, I had an attorney. And I do have a partner. His name is Elwood McCoy, and we have an operations agreement.
Okay.
A partnership agreement. So that's another thing I wanted to touch upon. Even though we had a client advisor relationship at first, and it grew into a partnership. We still kept it professionally. So we got the attorney involved early and did, the partnership agreement. So you just want to have everything, all of your I's and your T's dotted and crossed. So make sure early on, if you don't bring anybody else on, you need initially an attorney reading over everything. The franchise agreement, all kind of agreements, the lease agreement for the space. So that would probably be the top 3 things that I advise early on.
I like that. Especially with the partnership situation. I've seen so many bad scenarios because they didn't have an operating agreement, Stephanie. They didn't have the rules that bind this partnership. So like, even if you guys go and get your LLC and get your partnership EIN and all of that stuff, if you don't have that partnership, that operating agreement to go along with it, then you are setting yourself up to end up being in a tough situation or in a bad outcome, because all rules fail. Like, there's no rules, there's no controlling board. Like, the operating agreement controls what Stephanie does, what our partners does, what she brings to the table, what he brings to the table. And it actually really need to go in a lot of details. So if Stephanie was to pass away, what part of the business does it, transfer over? Does the business remain intact? Will she be able to have a beneficiary come and take her share, her ownership in the business? All of that should be outlined in your operating agreement. And this is why when you guys jump out and just don't retain professionals, like she said, a team. And this is why I'm glad that was number 1 on your list, because you two could have jumped into something so blindly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could have jumped in blindly and perhaps not have the success that we've experienced. And, it could have got, really ugly really fast. Relationships could be ruined. Like you say, if one of us passed away prematurely, what happens to, the business? Is it required that, one partner buys the other partner's shares out? Or is it okay for a beneficiary to step in? But if a beneficiary steps in, the business may be run differently, and it could end up failing anyway. Yeah, so you need a team of professionals, absolutely, and you definitely need an attorney drawing up that operating agreement and reading over everything before you sign it.
So is it anything at all, Stephanie, that you would just love to leave the people with? Any last words, advice, anything that I may not have touched on at all?
Absolutely. There are plenty of resources out there for small businesses that will help you. If you check with your nonprofits, I know the Urban League is a national organization, but I know here we have like a business resource center. So wherever your followers are, perhaps if they look at nonprofits like the Urban League and perhaps maybe see if there are business resource centers, they help with sometimes capital, a lot of times business plan writing. And these services are all free. Sometimes you could even get assistance, financial assistance with getting your partners, your operating agreement drawn up. So it sounds like it could be a lot coming out of your pocket up front. But if you do the research and maybe check in your area what resources are available, you may be able to get a lot of your initial expenses covered.
You hear that, guys? So be resourceful. Be very resourceful. So you may even want to check out your local SCORE to kind of get maybe some guides or something. Check out, like she said, your local chamber, just everywhere, guys. Just do research. Like she said, that was key for her to be where she is right now. And then honestly, like, she's over there competing with the big boys, because Dunkin' Donuts got their drive-through. Starbucks make sure, even if they're on the corner of a building, that they build out and get authority to get a permit to build out their drive-through. And now what's amazing is that that's not a part that's going to deter your customers from coming from you. They don't have to get out of the car. So what she did was now say, okay, all right, now you have 3 choices. You're going to either choose us based on what you actually want in terms of flavor, taste, or what you like, or your preference. So if you want to compete, this is the way you compete. She took it out. So now what? Either you like us or you don't. You don't like our coffee, that's fine. Okay. So you're going to go. If you prefer Starbucks, you go there. If you prefer certain, but then now she knows her type of customer too, based on the competitive itch that she's allowed her coffee shop to actually be standing against all of these companies that's even close or even nearby people. Because I'm that type, Stephanie, I would drive to you just for your taste of your flavor. Like I literally drive miles. It's kind of obsessive, but I would drive miles for a small business just to get, because I can only get it from there because I appreciate the taste, the flavor, and the effort that's put into. So I'll drive. Like I only get my pizza from a certain place now, my steak and cheese are from a certain place, my ribs, like, and they're all small business, and I have to literally drive. So you have people like me that's going to just do that for you, and you gave us that opportunity to do so because she pivoted prior to COVID and was creative. And just like, okay, I'm about to do this and get a drive through. So Stephanie, I just want to commend you for all of the success that you and your partner and that you guys are able to see. And it's just amazing how, it's actually inspiring to hear stories of success during times like this, because if you're driving down the streets, like I said, you're just seeing businesses close down. But what did they do prior? And you've shown today on the show that you made moves prior to COVID to be prepared for what I would say unforeseen circumstances, and what you would say expect the unexpected, right? What you were able to. So guys, if you're looking for someone, if you're in New Orleans, so can you give them their address if they need to patronize, go and get some coffee, if they need to get some corporate PJ for their photo shoots, if you're doing content, I don't know.
Yeah, so we are located at 5733 Reed Boulevard. That's in New Orleans East. So that's New Orleans, Louisiana. The zip code is 70127. We're always doing things here in the community. That's another thing that we didn't get to mention earlier. We've had voters registration drives. We've had school supply drives. This past weekend, we had a toy drive. Collecting toys for, kids, for families who aren't able to really do much for their children for Christmas. So we've really embodied ourselves in this community, whereas, we're always doing something. So people always want to kind of come. So it works out for us, because even if and when competition thinks about coming this way, our customers can see the money that they spend here. They see it going back into we make it a point to know, hey, we're not taking money out of this community. We're putting everything right back in it. And if I could add just one more point.
Go ahead.
As an entrepreneur, if you have a vision and you feel that it's a really good vision, you have to go for it. God gave you your vision for a reason. Everybody does not have your vision. Now, you're going to have me on your show again so I could talk about all the people that said, don't do it.
Wow.
And the challenges that came with people, with the negativity, even from family.
See,
if I would have
why you didn't say that, Stephanie, man? Because that's what my people endure every day to push back. Go ahead, tell me before we go. But yes, that will be a good show, especially because of the transition. So I would definitely have our teams connect. And so that would be a good talk, how to endure the pressure of entrepreneurship and what it endures. So yes, go ahead. Let me be quiet. I done got excited.
You do your own research. That's why when people say, well, you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that in that area? You sure that market can sustain? It's like, wait a minute. I've done the research. You know what I mean? But if I would have listened to all of the negativity that came along with it, perhaps I would have second guessed it. And you'll be amazed how many of those same people are coming back now like, oh, I wish I would have invested, it's crazy, but I had to realize God gave me this vision and this platform and this opportunity for a reason. So if this is something that you believe in and you've done your research, and this is where your heart, you wake up every day and going to bed thinking about your dream of opening your business, you have to go all in with it, or else you'll never know, what could have, should have, or would have been.
And then I also going to add on that you may never know what pure happiness is either, because if you're not able to really go and do what you absolutely love, how could you endure the complete level of happiness that that this world here can provide for you? Because it's most of we're in work all day, regardless if it's your 9 to 5, you're in it. So you need to be able to enjoy it. And that's where that living with your purpose and trying to do your purpose concept kind of come into place. But like she said, if it's that burn and you can't eat, sleep, breathe, it's just like you're always coming back to it and you know it's going to work. Look, she said logic though, not just your passion. She added also the research, and you know there's a need in the market space for it. Launch that stuff, guys. We're going into a year when we thought 2020 was the year of tunnel vision, just so much success, just absolute abundance, which it's going to still be, and for certain situations, but it's just everybody's perception of 2020 was different. Let's just put a spin that regardless, it can't get no worse than what it's already been. So we're already at the bottom. We started from the bottom, now we're here. Go ahead and use 2021 as your time to just say, you know what, I'm about to do this and apply it, and be ready to go all in. So Stephanie, I want to just say thank you for closing out this year with us. Guys, go ahead on and follow Stephanie at PJ's Read, READBLVD Boulevard, okay? On Instagram, guys. Go and patronize them. If you're in New Orleans, go and get some coffee, girl, and let me know how it is. Send me some. I like coffee too. As well, patronize her, guys. Check her out. Bug her. Ask her questions. So she can feed some energy and some love into you guys, because I know many of you want to do the franchising thing, but you just don't know where to go and where to start. And we give you so much content, so much resources and information in today's show, is that I'm hoping that you guys take it and go and apply and start 2021 off on an amazing foot. So Stephanie, thank you so much, and we appreciate you, and we would love to have you back anytime.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and happy holidays.
Same to you.
Yes. Hey guys, so tonight's show was amazing. Head over, guys, and follow her. Okay, definitely check out everything that they got going on. If you're in her community, check her out as well. Support Black-owned businesses. That's really how we become free. Honestly, we don't really need handouts. We just need each other to support. So 2021, guys, is the year that you've been through enough. You've already been down. It can't get no worse. If you've lost family, that's kind of like the worst it can get. If your business was down to zero, that's like the worst it can get. But let's just start fresh, regroup, pivot, pray, align yourself, and let's just rock 2021 out with no expectations, but going all in, expecting everything from the universe. Guys, I love you all. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys January 12th. Alrighty, Trump, let's close out the show. Good night, Stephanie. Bye, guys. By going to bit.ly/TMZ, all caps, get notified, and look out for what we have coming out in store and all of our guests coming on the show, guys. Tonight was amazing. I hope that you guys learned a lot.